Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. I think that's us live. So, welcome everyone to the Advanced Psycho Frontier Round of 16 Map Pool Showcase. Very glad that everyone's had the chance to join us. My name is Ikin, and today I'm joined by Prosthetic and Cyro. Would you guys like to say hi?
Yes, hello.
Hello.
Right. Thank you all for being here. I hope everyone's excited for a nice fun map pool. Something that we have to share is that the round of 23 map pool featured a few custom maps, but from here on out, we have very much tried to make every map for Advanced Psycho Frontier, so you'll be seeing maps that you haven't seen before, and hopefully everyone's excited by that. There's not really much to say, I think, other than we should probably start with Nomad 1. I hope everyone's ready for that. Nomad 1 is going to be Camellia featuring Nanahira, Skash All Neurons by Komasi. I think this is a very fun song, and in sort of the vein of Nomad 1. This is going to just have a little bit of variety, a little bit of 1/6, a little bit of scroll speed changes, but nothing particularly difficult. And with OD 6.5, it should be accessible enough for most teams to really be able to hack it as well. It's worth noting that most... Sorry.
Yeah, I might be wrong, however, but I think this BPM of this one is lower than last week. Or I think it's gonna be more heavy.
Oh, there's more slightly mean patterns in this. So yeah, a drop in BPM maybe makes it a little bit more accessible for everyone. You can see some awkward 1/4 streams with longer monos in them, a little bit of 1/6 mixed patterns as well. And of course, the different snaps on the finishes here. But all in all, I fully believe that most of the teams will be able to play this. They're all very strong. I guess it just depends on your tolerance of Camellia with Nanahira. This is not particularly short though, almost. Yeah, sorry, I've misread the timer there. It's only 2 minutes and 2 seconds, so for Nomad 1, this is sort of on the shorter side, but you can also tell that there's basically constantly stuff happening in the map. So you don't really have the lower intensity sort of rest moments you might be slightly more accustomed to. I personally found that stream quite difficult to hit all the cat monos in, but that's because I'm DDKK, so I've got a skill issue fundamentally. Yeah, altogether very fun map, but I don't envision this is going to be something that's the teams are really going to struggle with. And this, sort of makes sense. Round of 16, it shouldn't be super difficult yet, but this is sort of where you do start to see the pool diverge into more, slightly niche skill sets, I guess. You start to see the identity of the maps a little bit more. For Nomad 2, one thing you'll notice is that in this map pool you get to see sort of the personalities of the mappers a lot more, because they had pretty large freedom to choose their songs. So this map is made by Nayutaos, Ponkos Rock and Roll. This is going to be the speed map, or the speed Nomad map. So 260 BPM. It's fast, definitely, but it's not unbearably fast. And the focus really is going to be on how do you manage your stamina. Do you single tap this? Can you alternate through the patterns? I remember trying to set the replay for this and I could not alternate, so hopefully it goes better for all of the players here. will say I'm pretty sure that Prosthetic would easily be able to assess this. Not sure if you've got any opinions on this so far.
Yeah, I feel as though this is the BPM range where people start to classify as a sort of speed pick. It's around the 260, 270. I don't doubt the upper teams will have problems with this. Yeah, it's more so just how do you manage keeping up with these patterns with accuracy and stamina. It just all culminates together in this pick, I feel.
Yeah, if you're unlucky as well and you're against a team with players that are more comfortable on these sort of faster maps, this might just turn into another accuracy battle, because with OD 6.5 it's not like it's super demanding in terms of accuracy. It's really more just, can you burst fast enough, and can you hold your stamina across these longer sections without breaks. But it is a pretty short map, only 2 minutes and 10 seconds, so we'll see if people actually get tested too much on the stamina, or if it's really just the speed on the burst that's gonna catch people out.
Well, the ending is kind of brutal, I'm not gonna lie. So
It's only going to get worse from here on out.
Getting caught off guard last on the last section there.
Yeah, definitely steps up a bit towards the end, as you said, Cyro. That's might be where a lot of matches get decided on Noma 2. But we're going to keep the trend going with, well, at least custom map difficulties. And now we have Tonight We Fly, mapped by Yuon. I am still not sure how to pronounce their name. But this is going to be the Nomod Tech pick. Again, only 2 minutes long. But you might notice this is OD7. So that's really going to emphasize the demand for can you actually hit intricate snappings accurately. At only 161 BPM though, it's not very fast. It's a lot more on the burst tech side where you'll have some faster snaps, but instead of just having as much random stuff thrown at you, it'll be quite similar to what you're seeing now. Just awkward patterns, some faster snaps from 1.6 and 1.8 throughout. Yeah, I do hope that this is also at least allowing the players to sort of see, oh look, at all these cool songs that people are mapping, which is, again, basically all the choice from the mappers. It's hopefully gets to show a little bit of personality. But this is where the map starts to become difficult. You see a lot of these 1.8 triples strewn throughout, and 1.6 does it everywhere. A little bit more heavy on the finger control, and as you can see from the replay as well, getting high accuracy might not be the easiest. That finisher is quite mean, I will say. But luckily, again, all of these maps so far have been rather short. It's a pretty common trend for the No-Mod pool this week. They're not super long, so you won't have to spend, hours and hours remembering patterns, practicing very specific choke points. I think all very tidy tech pick does exactly what it says on the tin, awkward snaps, weird patterns, finger control, but nothing that I think is particularly egregious for the round of 16. I think should be fairly fitting. Although people did struggle on No-Mod 3 during the round of 23, the highest score that we saw from a team was 1,931,000. So perhaps this could be a trend that we see going forward into the tournament. But now, Cyro, we've got a map from you for No-Mod 4.
Yes, that is correct. Do you want me to
This was
the map,
very
or
difficult to hack.
you want me to talk about the map, or?
Yes, please.
Yes, so Normal 4 is going to be Marge's hyena song, and compared to the last Normal 4, this is the gimmick map will be slightly in the same maybe difficulty for some people. The last SB gimmick had more 1-6 snappings. This doesn't have any snappings. It's going to be the same 1-4 snappings for the rest of the map. However, the map will have some more, let's say, streams and more SD that will suddenly catch many people off guard. You see right here. And yeah, there will be a lot of high SDs in this map, a lot of low SD sections. So if you're comfortable with that, this map should not be an issue for you. 100%.
It is only OD6, so it's not the most difficult from that viewpoint, but this Donkama section I found, it took quite a bit of practice for me to actually be able to hit this, because it's just something that you need to have practiced quite a lot
now
to
comes
understand.
the slow stream SD section, that's probably one of the more difficult patterns or sections in the map.
Yeah, I found it was just the contrast of the really high and the really low SD that I found personally quite difficult. Because it goes so fast that I feel like I have to put my client on widescreen, so that makes the slower sections a lot more difficult in return as well.
Yeah, so you need to like be comfortable with both high and slow SD, and this section is mostly just a spam of different SDs.
I think this is very well balanced though, because it's not super difficult in terms of the rhythm, as you say. There's not really 1-6 to throw people off. It's just, can you read what's going on? So I think this is a very nice map. It might be one of the maps that takes more practice in the pool, obviously. But it's not counterintuitive by any means. It's very straightforward to wrap your head around, I think. Now, that was the SV map, but we also have a skin gimmick map, this time made by Solar, Jarvis Gaming, and Cyro, again. So this is Winehouse Nightcore Remix by YYVNG. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
I just want to point note that, I think Solar did like 95% of the map, like me and Jarvis just did half of the like mapping, and he just did all the things. So don't credit us, like credit Solar. He did absolutely amazing work mapping this.
Yeah, and I think everyone's sort of able to see the gimmick already. The node colors are lying to you. They keep changing. I found that the best way to play this is to look closer to your hit circle. Does that make sense? That's when the colors stop changing. And that's, well, when they're actually accurate, but a lot of these patterns are sort of inverse of each other in these sections where you see triples stand back to back. So it's not super difficult if you sort of understand that aspect of the map. But the middle is where I find it to become really, really difficult, and I'm really unsure how to play it. Like, this section so far is fine, but the disappearing streams are so nasty to hack, I find. It's like turning on hidden halfway throughout the map. Also very evil overall difficulty of 6.66. But at least you'll be able to say, I managed to play an 18.6 star difficulty map. Okay, so this map doesn't introduce too many different gimmicks. It's really just this sort of alternating color overlaid on the patterns. And the disappearing streams we saw in the middle. I think this is definitely going to take some practice, because I've still not managed to see the map in practice.
mean, I think for some people who played on the Solace Gimmick Cup, this might be some deja vu, because this map plays kind of the same way as Dynamo 2 from the calls, which has also like disappearing notes. So it kind of plays somehow like hidden maybe, but it's kind of like in a more different way. So if you're like comfortable with reading those type of notes, it shouldn't be an issue for you.
The gimmick maps are always obviously quite decisive. In the sense that either you understand it or you don't. But even with an SS, you don't get max score. What's going on there? I feel like that might be a finisher or something. But that was the no mod pool. Moving on now, we've got two beautiful hidden maps. So hidden 1 is Discoloration. Buta, this is your, well, speed hidden, although it's not super fast yet at 200 BPM. This is more the idea of, can you read, notes when you don't have a lot of time to memorize them? Can you read intricate coloring? And again, this is where the map pool maybe diverges a little more. Obviously there was a bit of feedback last week that the hidden maps and the free mod maps didn't necessarily feel like they were testing super different skills. That's gonna start now. There's a fairly constant scroll speed on this. 2 minutes 45, this is literally the consistency hidden map. Can you read it, and can you keep accuracy? Which most teams didn't seem to struggle too much with hidden 1 in the round of 23. Although, if you cannot play hidden, obviously this might be a bit of a sticking point. Although I will say, I find this a lot more easy to play as someone who's not very good at hidden compared to the slower hidden. So I think teams can genuinely pick this even if they're not, super confident on it. It's fast enough that you don't have to memorize the notes for very long. And also, OD6 is not particularly punishing. I think this is fairly accessible as far as hidden maps go. Now the second KI coming up now is where the patterns are going to be most difficult. I can see a lot of even rhythms thrown throughout here, a lot of kind of awkward coloring. But again, it can't be a completely free map. You need to test people properly. Pardon me, I had to sneeze. I know it may be harder to judge, especially for Prosthetic, because, well, they're obviously quite good at Taiko, but have you got any opinions so far? Do you think you could play this?
I mean, yes, but that doesn't really say much. No, I don't think much has changed. BPM's only increased by 5, if I'm correct. I think last week was 195, this is 200. OD stays the same. But yeah, no, the difference between these two maps, it's definitely starting to show with these stages commencing. So yeah, I like to see how this pick turns out in later stages.
Yeah, you say the difference become more obvious, especially with Hidden 2. I think the differences are going to become more clear. I think one of the things that we did try to include in these pools is that traditionally Hidden 2 is very much, or sorry, slow Hidden picks is typically low BPM focused on sort of tech. This is a little bit different in the sense that this is more focused on short-term memory and awkward, even rhythms. It's not really tech-focused, it is really doubling down on the slower scroll speed and finger control. Which, we had a discussion about this, but those are both aspects of slow hidden. So this week there will not be this tech hidden map that maybe people are used to, but don't let that trick you into thinking that this is by any means easy. This, a lot of the test players found to be one of the, if not the most difficult maps for the pool. There are in the intro also a few BPM changes that might catch people off guard. The first section of the map is 156 BPM, but then there's a bunch of finishers that are in slightly different tempo. I think they're 140. They do have to be careful with that, but I think they're easy enough to understand after one or two practice runs. And I think this is very telling also. Tycomom mapped this, and I think this is something that you, in terms of music taste at least, would definitely associate with Tycomom. More straying away from the electronic, going for instrumental, rock, metal type music. There is a little bit of 1-6, but they're disconnected, so this should not really prove a problem for anyone. I see people in chat saying type 1 if hidden sucks. You guys are just coping. Clearly you're not a hidden enjoyer.
There's some people don't even want to learn hidden, that's the thing.
It is difficult, but I don't know, is it rewarding of a skill or does it just look cool when you play it?
I mean, maybe it's 50-50 because you can learn hidden 1 and then I play a match and then it gets down from one. It's like it doesn't matter.
I do think that Hidden 2 might be a bit of a ban magnet for this week. There was some teams in round 32 that were, well, struggling is a polite way to say it, on both of the hidden picks. Although there was also, I think, Tiny Gang tops max scored Hidden 2, so something to keep in mind. But that's pretty typical of many tournaments. The slow hidden is always a bit of a controversial map that people either love or hate. Now, that was hidden. We have 2 hard rock picks. Hard rock 1 is going to be our more tech and snapping variety focus map. Black Sphere, mapped by Suncraft. I think this is pretty low BPM, so nobody should really have trouble reading it at only 150 BPM. But there are a lot of snapping changes that can make you drop accuracy. We obviously see the 1/3 and 1/6. With the OD 8.4, that's quite easy to drop accuracy on, even though the song is pretty forgiving in that it holds a really steady rhythm to allow you to sort of set your internal metronome to. Yeah, it doesn't... I think this is a very fair Hard Rock 1 pick. It's exactly what you expect from a tech Hard Rock. So, again, sort of one of those skills where you can do it or you cannot. Although, the star rating of only 5 is very deceptive, I find. Hard Rock seems to be at least a skill that people struggled less on in the round of 23. So I can only take that as an encouraging sign to say that this is definitely going to get played a lot in the round of 16. Surely. And finishing off with the double S from our replayer. Fantastic effort. Now, Hard Rock 2, same as Hidden, we're going to have a speed pick in this, which in this case is Mujinku Vacuum Track mapped by Kyoshinks. So this is, well, 203 BPM might not be considered as very fast, but on Hard Rock, it is sort of the idea of, can you read everything, can you keep accuracy whilst the notes start flying by? The same idea as with the Hidden one pick. It's not necessarily that Hidden 1 or Hard Rock 2 are super fast, but they do really test the skill of, can you actually consistently read faster scroll speeds with the mods on? Now, something that we did want to be cautious about when choosing songs for Hard Rock 2 is that we do want to have progression every week, and you know, maybe 203 BPM is not super fast, but we also can't exactly have, you know, 3 weeks of 220 BPM maps at some point. So maybe this starts a little bit lower than expected, making Hard Rock 2 a bit more accessible for some of the teams that aren't super well versed in Hard Rock. At least in terms of rhythm and mechanical difficulty, this is definitely one of the more straightforward maps in the pool, in my opinion at least. Not demanding particularly much in terms of different snaps. It is really just the accuracy of, can you hit high OD, and can you obviously read the fast notes that are scrolling by. And accidentally, another SS from our replayer. Clearly, all the players will be able to replicate that score.
Surely.
Now, we have covered Hidden and Hard Rock, so obviously there's Double Time next, and I think this is maybe, I guess, the most interesting part of the pool. Daijob and I, mapped by Cyro again. The DT1 is more the finger control focused Double Time. Lots of finishes here, lots of even rhythms. What did you envision? Did you have any particular ideas when mapping this?
Well, we were discussing a lot about this map, to say the least, and there was a lot of back and forth with choosing the song and stuff, and we ended up with this, which is a kind of swingy song, and the patterns kind of are the same rhythm for the rest of the map, but the patterns of the notes change a lot. It's not gonna be your reoccurring patterns, like the patterns will change all the time. The rhythm will be the same for the rest of the map, except for like the middle section where the graphics and patterns will change a little bit. But this is more
this is quite difficult to single tap.
I don't think anybody will single tap this.
I mean, it is slow enough at 192 BPM that some people might think about it, but if you're going to single tap this map, you'll be single tapping the entire thing. So just in terms of stamina, that's something worth considering.
And you saw some 1-6 pattern there. By the way, that pattern before the nerfs was a full screen with 1-6 patterns, but seeing this did not like this, so he told me please nerf this. So we nerfed it, and now it's a little bit more balanced throughout the tournament.
Please be nice. Please be nice to the to the players.
Yeah. The only thing we left was that one stream we saw before. I mean, it shouldn't be that big of an issue to any of the players, I think.
No, there are a lot of finishers connected to 1-4 patterns though, which is, I mean, is it difficult? Maybe not super difficult to hit, but to max score all the finishers, that could be quite a big decider in some matches if you have people not quite hitting all of them consistently. Now, DT1 was the finger control double time, whereas DT2 alteration mapped by Barra is going to be, well, more of a stamina and speed pick. So 240 BPM. It's not super long, but it is definitely more dense. You can also tell by the fact that, you know, the star rating is like 0.8 higher. There's longer patterns in here, less awkward rhythms, so everything is basically on beats, but it's a lot more dense. Although the finishers in this map will not be connected to the patterns very much, so that makes them a little bit easier to hit. Not quite full streams into this map, but you can definitely tell, you know, 7 notes, 9 note long patterns. A bit more. It's not quite as fast as Nomod 2, because Nomod 2 was very much burst speed, whereas here you definitely see the longer patterns coming in. And again, 240 BPM might not sound like super fast, but again, I implore you to keep in mind that there needs to be some progression through the weeks. We cannot only give you 280 BPM DT2s. I think this stream bugged a little bit. People were seeing 340 BPM max. No, this is just 240. But I mean, at the early stages of many tournaments, the speed DT also, like Nomad 2, becomes a bit more of an accuracy focused pick, because most players are able to hit the speed required for this map. So that's something worth keeping in mind when you're strategizing against the opposing teams. If you think their accuracy might not be as strong, you may be able to exploit that with Double Time 2. Now, there's 4 maps left for us after Double Time 2. We have Flashlight 1, also the only Flashlight map, which is Hello, World, mapped by Shinjin Home. Flashlight maps, we've definitely tried to keep them very short. Just for the idea, like, if you have to memorize a 3-minute map, it's a little bit mean. I think it's really impressive that people are actually able to play Flashlight in a competitive setting. I find it so difficult.
I mean, if you think about it, like, Flashlight is basically like Hard Rock 2, but a kind of like a budget version of Hard Rock 2. Like, you still have less vision, less reaction time to hit the patterns. It's just the patterns, like the notes, are a little bit more close to each other.
Yeah, I don't know what people's strategy is. Do you put widescreen on when you're playing Flashlights? It would almost make sense if you're trying to emulate the feel of Hard Rock 2, as you say. I don't know if that's actually how it works.
And a lot of people, I know, just make the notes smaller, which kind of makes sense. Like, you make the notes smaller, and then like the SV won't feel that small.
Yeah, because even though you don't have very much reaction time, the notes are quite congested.
Yeah, I think even despite the like limited vision, like the slow SV on this is really like it would probably trip me if I would play this map.
And the OD is quite high. OD 6.7. Is going to force. Oh, no, no, no!
I wonder if that is actually a coincidence.
Surely this is just a little prank. Well, the high OD as well. It helps you in some ways, forces you to really keep your internal rhythm. But I imagine that some people who are not super used to the flashlight might find the high OD a little annoying. Now, we have Waribashi Free Mod 1. This is Culture by Tsumiki with Hatsune Miku. I have very good hopes that everyone is going to be able to mod this map. The only tricky part that I really found is the spinner in the beginning. If you put on Hard Rock, you really have to spam through that spinner. But Free Mod 1 is going to be more accuracy focused, pretty accessible to employ mods. There's not going to be anything like super fast scroll speed or super slow scroll speed or nasty overlaps or so. And of course, Waribashi makes very comfortable maps typically, so I think it's just going to be a case of can people, at least in this part of the tournament, is can you employ more than one mod? That's what's going to make the biggest difference in my opinion. And you know, do you have someone that can play hidden and hard rock separately? Because it shouldn't be inaccessible, this map at least. I did see some pretty big gaps between some of the teams in Free Mod 2 during the round of 23. There's levels to this already, but some of the top teams are really... I cannot envision them struggling particularly hard, even though there's little bits of tricky 1-8 where you have to... Well, they're easy enough that you only really have to maintain focus. It's not like you have to spam through them or pray for the best. Raphael's really punching air right now at the sounds of Hatsune Miku.
Do you know what the SD of this map is? Like what the rate is?
It goes slightly above 1, but it's not... Well, the sort of guidelines that we try to keep to is that you don't go faster than Hard Rock 2, and you don't go slower than Hidden 2.
Yeah. I guess this shouldn't be an issue to hit Hard Rock for many players.
It should be accessible, at least. I think it's... There's a little bit of scroll speed variations, but not particularly major. So... Again, the spinner at the start, I feel like, might catch people off guard. They should be fine. Now, Free Mod 2 is I Am Coming, MTEL Future Core Bootleg. The beat map by Kyoshing, and also played by Kyoshing. I think this is a really fun song. And this is going to be the Free Mod where we focus a bit more on adding scroll speed changes, a bit of overlaps, slower sections and faster sections to make it less, well, I don't want to say free, but less accessible for those putting on mods. So, I mean, the song has pretty well identifiable rhythms, at least in it, so it's not like you're left struggling to find what sounds you're going to be hitting to, but again, this will go a bit faster. The scroll speed goes up to about 200 BPM equivalent, and there's a few slower sections as well to challenge the hidden players, along with some overlaps that might catch you out especially if you're trying to double mod, mod 2. So here's some of the more difficult to read overlaps. That I think they're not super unreadable, but it definitely is going to take a little bit of practice, especially for those players trying to play this map with hidden things with hard rock. It's accessible enough, assuming you can read the fast scroll speed changes. Thank you very much for Kyoshing. I'm sorry about your SS. It was very close. Well, this means there's only one map left for us to show you today. And that is going to be the tiebreaker. So this tiebreaker was mapped by Nayutaos, Faputa, and myself. Soul Memory by Seatros. I think Seatros has become pretty famous within the OS community and the rhythm game community in general. A lot of their longer songs are pretty suitable to tiebreaker maps, in my opinion, just because they featured, a little bit of everything. And I think, this song fits right in with that. So what you're going to notice here is it's going to predominantly be longer awkward patterns, but there's a few tech sections with 1/6 mixed in, especially towards the middle of the map. Now, OD7 is on the higher side for this pool, but again, because you cannot apply mods, this should be very well accessible. There's nothing super difficult in terms of reading. There will be quite a lot of even patterns, though, just all throughout the map. Sort of experiencing a bit more of a tech-heavy section, but I think most people can agree that the patterning on the faster snaps is pretty comfortable. Nothing particularly outrageous. It's going to force misses out of anyone. The long spinner, 175 hits. Now, if you can get through the spinner fast, you'll at least have the chance to have a little. But at 5 minutes and 15 seconds, it's not a super unbearably long tiebreaker. Now, for the best part of the map, as is pretty common with Tetris music, the ending is going to be really, really. I don't know how to describe it. Whereas the first section here had a lot of even rhythms and a little bit of faster snappings. The sort of ending of the music lends itself a lot more to more comfortable, longer patterns. Even a couple of streams. All in all, I think this tiebreaker is going to be accessible enough that, well, realistically, most people in this tournament should be able to full combo and put towards a pretty good score. I'm expecting to see, if people play this, I'm expecting to see a lot of, 900,000 pluses and maybe even some people getting very close to SS. Although, don't do a Taiko World Cup incident where you hit the ending and lose your lead on the last 4 notes. Dear Yongjin, I cannot tell you what the next week tiebreaker will or will not be, and it may or may not be Camellia. Sorry. But thanks to everyone for joining us for the Round of 16 showcase. I hope everyone, well, at least enjoy the music. If the maps looked difficult, I suggest you get practicing. Thank you, Prosthetic and Xyro, for joining on the commentary team. Do you have any final thoughts, perhaps, you'd like to share?
Yeah, I mean, I would just like to say good luck to everyone playing the pools, and hope you make sure to practice out every single map and try your best.
Yep, I agree. Thank you, and hopefully everyone has a lot of fun. And yeah, remember, please don't reschedule too late if you want to change your match times. I hope everyone finds a good match time, practices, and has a competitive match this weekend. And we'll be back with you, well, presumably a week from now, with the quarterfinal showcase once all of our matches have concluded. So, thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.
Time.